and welcome to Bottom Line with Roni and Byron. We have some news to get to you, and we're going to start with the principal assignments in Jackson County School District.
And for national news, we're going to talk about how Eli Musk gets Twitter for $44 billion to cheers and fears of his free speech plan.
Then we'll switch to sports and talk about Marietta High School softball team, who will be starting district tournament next week.
And then for entertainment, we'll talk about the new documentary that revisits the toxic legacy of Girls Gone Wild.
Then we will switch to our relationship tea topic and talk about boundaries, setting boundaries in your relationships. Byron, we will switch to our local and state news and talk about the principal assignments that have been given out in the Jackson County School District. We'll start with Graceville High School. There were some rumors about Graceville High School closing, but that is not the case. Graceville High School will remain open, but they will have a new principal, Carlin Martin. Carlin Martin was a former principal at Marietta High School last year. Then he retired, I should say the previous year. Then he retired, came out of retirement, and is currently the assistant principal at Marietta K-8. Well, he is the newly named principal at Graceville High School. So Graceville High School will have a new principal for the 2022-2023 school term. Now, Cottondale Elementary will continue to keep their principal, Carrie Gilmore. Let me just go back and say Graceville. Graceville is not a high school. It's Graceville School. That is the proper term because they go from K through 12. So Graceville School will have a new principal. All right, as I said, Cottondale Elementary will keep their principal, Carrie Gilmore. Cottondale High School will keep their principal, Xander Warren. Early Childhood Center Administrator, Amy Allen, will continue to be the administrator. Graceville principal, we talked about that. Grand Ridge principal, it will be a new person. Becky Hart will be the new principal at Grand Ridge. She is currently the assistant at Grand Ridge. Hope School will keep its principal. Dr. Millicent Braxton. Jackson Alternative School will keep their principal, Rick Suggs. And Malone School will get a new principal. That person is Brian Hardy. Hardy is currently the assistant principal at Malone. He will be replacing Doug Powell, who is moving on to the district office as the new director of elementary education and professional development. So he is replacing Carolyn Pitcher, who is retiring. So congratulations to Doug Powell on his new assignment. Marietta High School will continue to have Aaron Day as their principal. Marietta K-8 will continue to have their two principals. Jessica Craven, who's the principal of the K through 4, and then Ronald Mitchell, who is the principal for 5 through 8. So that will remain the same. Sneed Elementary will keep their principal. Mindy Howell. Sneed High School will get a new principal, Byron. That is Steve DeWitt. He will be the new principal next year. He is currently the principal at Grand Ridge. Christy Haley is the current principal of Sneed High School, and she is moving on to be the director of Exceptional Student Education next year, better known as ESC. She is replacing Sean Larkin, who is retiring. So those are the newly appointed principals, and the ones that are staying the same. That is your current list. And so, Byron, what do you think about those changes?
Yeah. I think it's great. I think, one of the things I like is continuity. I like the fact that, you keep people in the house and it's just a normal progression within the job. You don't get outside people that have to learn the staff and learn the kids and the community all over again. And shouts out to Doug Powell and Miss Pilcher. She was so much help for me. And I know she was teary-eyed in the last board meeting that I went to, but I know it's time, and when you love what you do, and it's hard to step away, but it's just one of those things that continues to make Jackson County be one of the few districts that stands above and beyond its peers, and to keep that normal progression going. So kudos and congratulations to everybody, and hopefully this continues.
Yeah, that is good news. So that's your list for the newly appointed principals, or the ones that are staying the same for the Jackson County School District. But I want to let everybody know that the local and state news is brought to you by Brightway Insurance. Brightway Insurance is located in Marianna on Caledonia Street. That phone number you can reach them at is 850-633-3460. That's 850-633-3460. Give them a call if you have any needs, such as property insurance, life insurance, auto insurance. Give them a call and they can meet your needs. Byron, our next story will be still in education. We're going to talk about the Florida teachers. There was a report that came out that said Florida teachers are the lowest paid in the country. They ranked 48, Byron. That is not a good look for the state of Florida. Even though, the money that Governor DeSantis has set aside and have already given still does not bring them up to the rest of the country. The state devoted $2 billion, to raise teacher pay. It still doesn't bring them up. And they've, like I said, the state devoted $2 million to raise the to teachers' pay. And matter of fact, last month, Governor DeSantis did announce there will be $800 million additional from the budget that will go towards teachers' raises. So hopefully that will make a difference. It should put newly starting teachers at a beginning salary of $47,500. So I think that is good. I'm glad he's doing that. So newly starting teachers will start out at $47,500. So hopefully Florida can catch up, Byron.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it's time, and it's a shame that it has to be that way. Is there a ranking as far as districts? Like who's do they break it down that way, or is they just saying Florida in general is the lowest?
They just say Florida in overall throughout the country ranks 40.
Well, hopefully, I mean, and here's another point to be made: you get what you pay for. It was something that we dealt with when I worked in corrections. The quality of officers, the quality of teachers. You get what you pay for. So if you want that good quality of people that care and put in that extra work, I mean, at the end of the day, yes, we love what we do, but we got to get paid. We got to get paid for it. So
the biggest thing now, they're saying that teachers are leaving. Teachers are leaving because of the low pay. So it's just not, a good situation right now in education. So hopefully with Governor DeSantis, throwing in this extra $800 million towards raising teacher salaries, hopefully that will make, a change.
Yeah, that reminds me of a joke I saw on, I think it was Living Single. And one of the friends was coming and working for Flavor. And the lady told her, she said, I know you said my check wasn't gonna be much, but when I got it, if I had a cat, I'd be home, I'd be starving. So she was basically like, that money you paying me ain't nothing. If I had to eat and just feed one thing, I'd be done. So hopefully, the governor and Congress and Senate, or the state government would try to, step up the game and get our teachers more pay.
Well, that extra $800 million, I think, will certainly be of assistance. All right, Byron, my next story, I want to just kind of touch on the latest article that came out on Florida politics. Was about our own local Jackson County NAACP. They wrote an article, and it was discussing the redistricting process in Jackson County. So I want to make sure everybody get a chance to go out and read it for yourself. Our own President Linda Franklin is the author of this article, and it's on Florida politics. And you can reach that at just Google floridapolitics.com and read how, she put everything together as far as outlining, how it happened, how it transpired, and how we got to the point of having two different maps for the school board and for the county commissioners and what that means. And, just kind of give an overview of why it had to happen and how it ended up. So just want to make sure that people are aware that that article is out there and you can read it for yourself. So again, it is on floridapolitics.com. All right, Byron, I'm going to move on to my next story. There's some jobs coming in the Panhandle. It's FedEx. FedEx had the grand opening of their new location in Panama City, and they are slated to have about 200 job openings at the facility. So yeah, so that is good. It's the new FedEx ground site, and it's on Commerce Boulevard in Panama City. So people can check that out. Over 200 jobs will be slated to be open at the facility. Again, they just had the grand opening this past week. So kudos to FedEx bringing jobs to the Panhandle. Want to take the time also to talk about Florida theme parks. And you'll be interested in this, Byron. Florida theme parks such as SeaWorld. Let's see. It's got a couple more. It's
Busch Gardens? No,
it's SeaWorld. It is. I'm sorry. Yeah. SeaWorld, Busch Gardens, and Sesame Place. They are participating in this program called Waves of Honor, which gives military personnel free admission. Yeah.
Outstanding.
So you get, if you are active duty, reserves, or veteran, you and 3 of your dependents will be able to get into these theme parks for free. So Byron, make sure you look that up and take advantage of that.
Sweet. I know they had something definitely when the war was going on. And when I remember taking advantage when I came back from deployment and taking my family, but it's crazy because the kids, I guess they were too young. They don't even remember. So we're definitely going to take another trip to Busch Gardens and SeaWorld, and I didn't mind. So I definitely don't mind. I have to pay for 4 tickets instead of 7. Yeah. So that'll be fine for me.
You get 3 dependents. Yeah. So that's active duty, reserves, National Guard, and up to 3 dependents. So make sure that everybody, check that out. So want to make sure again that you understand that Brightway Insurance is the sponsor of our local and state news, and they are located in Marietta at 2867 Caledonia Street. And be sure to give them a call at 850-633-3460. And I'll go ahead and just mention this to make sure that people are aware that the Jackson County School Board has combined their meetings for May. Their workshop and their meeting will be all in one on May the 12th at 4 p.m. And that will be at the Jackson County School Board's office on Jefferson Street. So there will not be 2 different meetings. There will only be one meeting. The workshop and the actual meeting itself will be all in one. And that's on May 12th at 4 p.m. at the Jackson County School Board. So that's all I have for local news. What do you have for national news, Byron?
So for national news, before I begin, I want to talk about People's Funeral Home. Because we care, we're here when you need us. Long Granbury Funeral Services Incorporated, doing business as People's Funeral Home. Mariana and Battle Mortuary, Panama City, offers services that is within the reach of all. Their caring staff is available 24/7 or when the need arises. Their services are designed to commemorate the life being remembered at a price suitable for all. So please give Cephas and Gwen a call at 850-482-2233. Again, that's 850-482-2233, or simply stop by for more information. That's People's Funeral Home. So my first story, I want to talk about Eli Musk. So I didn't talk about it last week because there was a lot of going back and forth over Eli Musk doing what they call a hostile takeover of Twitter. Well, he finally did it, and he gets Twitter for $44 billion. And the article starts out about cheers and fears of his free speech plan. So he clinched this deal buying Twitter, which will shift control of the social media platform populated by millions of users and global leaders to the world's richest person. It's a seminal moment for this 16-year company, which emerged as one of the world's most influential public squares, and now faces a string of challenges. So Elon Musk, he wants to throw in some tweaks. He wants to change Twitter's algorithm for prioritizing tweets to be public, and objects to giving too much power on the service to corporations that advertise. A lot of political activists expect that Elon Musk will mean less moderation and reinstate banned individuals such as former President Donald Trump. But conservatives cheer the prospect of fewer controls, while some human rights activists voice fears of a rise in hate speech. And he's talked about removing spam bots that send overwhelming amounts of unwanted tweets. He's also talked about trying to his whole thing is free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy, and he wants to boost that, but don't really spell out really what he means by when he says that. In addition, people have to remember it's still a business, and he's still in it. He wouldn't invest that much money if he wasn't looking to make a profit. So I don't think he would just run Twitter into the ground. But it's kind of weird. It's kind of interesting to see what's next, where Twitter will go now that Elon Musk owns it. The former CEO Jack Dorsey. Go ahead.
I was some people are not are not a fan of that move of them owning. Yeah, I did read that. So I don't know. What do you think about that?
It's a hard one to tell. That pendulum swings both ways. When people say free speech, right? That's cool. We do have a right to free speech, but it doesn't mean when you're talking about a business. The one thing about a business is, just like a human being, we require food, shelter, and water to survive. Well, a business, in order for it to survive, it's got to make a profit. And when you say free speech, well, all free speech is not like speech, So it's same with entertainment, with music, with things like that. If people you're gonna want demand, right? People to buy your product, people to use your product or whatever it is that you're selling. If Twitter becomes unpopular because of this, sales will go down. You won't have as many advertisements and ads to be able to make money off of, et cetera, et cetera. So if it's gonna be bad for business, I don't, Elon Musk, he projects himself as to be this, smart guy and things like that. Right. Well, a smart business move wouldn't be to spend that much money to run something into the ground. So it's interesting to see where he's gonna go with that. But I'm a fall back and see what he's actually gonna do, because but like I say, they say free speech, but you definitely can't yell fire in a movie theater. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of those things. That's one of those things. Hey, I'm never gonna, be against that constitutional right. But at the same time, is it marketable? Is it profitable for a business that's been so successful? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And I don't think he would, a lot of people are thinking that it's just gonna go haywire and get crazy, but I don't think he's gonna make that kind of a move to just run. But you never know. I've seen, very rich, successful businessmen run industries into the ground before, so it won't be the first. But anyway, in my next story, Russia releases U.S. Marine vet in surprise prisoner exchange. So this is according to the Associated Press. Russia and the United States have carried out an unexpected prisoner exchange in a time of high tensions. So a Marine veteran that was jailed by Moscow they switched him over for a convicted Russian drug trafficker, which was serving a long prison sentence in America. The deal involving Trevor Reed, that's his name, the former Marine Trevor Reed, an American in prison for nearly 3 years, would have been a notable diplomatic maneuver even in times of peace, but it was all the more surprising because it was done as Russia's war with Ukraine has driven relations with U.S. To their lowest point in decades. So on the other end, the swap was for Konstantin Yaroshenko. This was a Russian pilot who'd been serving a 20-year federal sentence for conspiring to smuggle cocaine, as you were, into the U.S. So the Biden administration, they trumpet this swap, but made it clear that the resolution did not herald a broader breakthrough. So you still have two other Americans over there, i.e. WNBA star Brittany Griner, and then Michigan corporate security executive Paul Whelan still remain jailed in Russia. So they're still trying to figure out how they're going to get those two back over, and they're still saying, hey, the tensions are high now. This former Marine had been there for 3 years, and his parents were complaining that he didn't look the same. He looked horrible, and they're attributing it to malnutrition. Yeah, and so look, it's like we said last week. When you get caught up in these other countries, you're under their law. So hopefully they can get Brittany Griner and the other American, Mr. Whelan from over there. But it's gonna be quite a time. I mean, it took 3 years to get this gentleman over. So
how long has the other guy been over there, Wheeler? I know Brittany's been over there since February. So how long has he been over there? Do you know?
I think he's been there for about 4 years as well.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, he's been there for quite a while. And one of the main questions he asked was, how come, this family reported saying that how come they didn't get me? So it's one of these things. Yeah, and the thing is, Whelan, he was convicted and sentenced to 16 years in prison. So I mean, and I think the maximum for Brittany Griner is 10, I believe. So there's no telling. And like I said, if she was to get out of there in 2 or 3 years, it would be on the Russian side of it would be a blessing. But for us, it's like, hey man, she need to get out of there as soon as possible. So yeah. I hope that they can get them out of there. So in my next story, Moderna asked FDA to authorize COVID vaccine for children under 6. So that's what's coming. The FDA is expected to make this decision sometime in June. So the drug makers requested this to be considered. The agency is expecting to seek the advice of an advisory committee, the Vaccine and Related Biological Products Advisory Committee. Children under 5 are the only group in the U.S. ineligible to receive a COVID vaccine. The Pfizer BioNTech vaccine is available to anyone as young as 5 currently, while Moderna's and Johnson & Johnson shots are only available to adults. So hopefully this kicks off. This Moderna vaccine for the children 6 months to 5 years old will be given as 2 25 microgram doses 4 weeks apart. So the dosage is a quarter of the dosage given to adults. Clinical results released in March found the vaccine wasn't particularly effective against infections in the age group, though it did prevent serious illnesses. So hopefully this comes out, and I don't think it'll take too long. But so those that are trying to get 6 months to 5 years, be on the lookout for the Moderna to come out pretty soon.
You have somebody in that age group under 6?
I do. Actually, my youngest set of twins are 5. They'll be 6, turn May 13th. So their birthday is coming up pretty soon. I'm having to hear it every day. Daddy, my birthday today? Yeah, no, we got a few more days. They want every day to be their birthday. So but yeah, we definitely we got to get those. Those are the last 2 to get vaccinated, and then we'll be good to go. Everybody will be AJ squared away. Yep.
Cool.
So that is it for me for national news. And before I leave, I want to once again talk about People's Funeral Home. Because we care, we're here when you need us. Long Granbury Funeral Services Incorporated, doing business as People's Funeral Home, Mariana and Battle Mortuary, Panama City, offers services that is within the reach of all. Their caring staff is available 24/7, and when the need arises, their services are designed to commemorate the life being remembered at a price that is suitable for all. So please give Cephas and Gwen a call at 850-482-2233. Again, that's 850-482-2233, or simply stop by for more information. That's People's Funeral Home.
All right, we'll switch to our sports segment. We will talk about some softball. Mariana High School softball team is they're having a pretty good season, Byron. They did play this past Thursday. They played Florida High, came up short 1. They lost 7-6. Now, Florida High, of course, is a powerhouse out of Tallahassee. And when they played them on April the 1st, Mariana did win. They actually won 4-0. And so then when they played them this past Thursday, they lost 7-6. And but the interesting thing is, Byron, they meet again on Tuesday in Tallahassee in district playoffs. So these same two teams, and I went to the game on Thursday night. It was a nail biter. It went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And those are two teams to watch, Mariana High School and Florida High. Mariana High School, unfortunately, they did drop to, let's see, 17-4. So that was their fourth loss. And then Florida High improved their record to 19-2. They've only lost two. So Addison Giles for Mariana had 2 homers Thursday night. Yeah, 2 back to back. Oh, I mean, over the fence. So, but Mariana still looks good in spite of the loss that they just had. And but people can watch the game or watch the box score Tuesday night, because district playoffs do start for Mariana High School, and they will be in Tallahassee facing Florida High for the 3rd time this season. So,
man, I hate I missed it. So I'm telling you that y'all, if you're not in the softball, I mean, look, baseball, basketball, football, but the women's softball, man, I am like all into it. And yeah, but Florida High, they're definitely even their boys squad is pretty good. But they get to recruit and everything like that. So but those are 2 close records. They may be building up a rivalry, they never know.
But I think so. Like I said, Mariana did beat them on April 1st in Tallahassee, 4-0. They put them out, and of course, Florida High came here Thursday night and beat them only by 1 point. But when I say it was a nail biter, it was a nail biter. All the way to the end. That was a great game. Yeah, very good game. My cousin Jason E. Beecham plays for Florida High, so yeah.
So you was caught up in the crossfire.
I really just kind of sitting there like, man, okay, good, like back and forth, because both teams, played very well. And you know what? Interesting enough, there are about 4 or 5 girls on Mariana High School softball team that are volleyball players. Yeah.
What's the accomplishments? That's why I tell my son, because I tell him, you play different sports, it complements the other. So it one helps your hand-eye, one helps your footwork, and one, it just makes you more athletic. I'm out there. I missed the game because I'm out there helping coach his team. So and we're out there all day long. We got everybody in softball, t-ball, and baseball. So but man, whenever we can, we try to catch a game, whether it's Mariana, whether it's Chipola, whether it's Malone. So it's cool to see these kids get out there and get it. Yeah.
Well, we'll have to keep our eye on Mariana High School softball team, because again, district playoff starts on Tuesday, and that game is in Tallahassee at Florida High. It'll be at, I think it's 6 p.m. our time. So we'll fire on that game. Yeah. All right. I'm going to switch to some interesting news, Byron. Condoleezza Rice is one of the top candidates to replace Mark Emart, who is the current NCAA president. So you may say, Condoleezza Rice? Yeah. She is one of the top candidates to replace him. He's stepping down as president of the NCAA in 2023. So, this organization governs football, basketball, all the sports. And
was she on like the committee for the football? I know it's like when they come up with the whole playoff line.
She was a former member of the college football playoff selection committee and the chair of the commission on college basketball. Yeah. But she's currently the director of the Hoover Institution at Stanford. That's what she is now. But she's one of the top picks. So that's going to be interesting to watch, to see Condoleezza Rice and see how far she gets in the selection process.
I hope she did. That's a lot. Go ahead. Yeah, a lot of people. You say what you want, but she's a barrier breaker. She's a first in a lot of things. So
you will be the first. sure, African American president of the NCAA.
Mm-hmm.
I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah, gotta be.
All right. So, and then I'm gonna switch over to some interesting news too. Sage Steele, who is an ESPN anchor, she's suing ESPN. You know, Sage Steele, she wear the curly hair. She's been this, yeah, but she is African American woman, but she's suing ESPN. And see, I was not aware of this, but her lawsuit is against ESPN, saying that they allegedly, basically, violated her free speech rights.
Yeah,
And
I
it
know she
goes
got
back.
suspended. Yeah, for something
Yeah,
she said on a show or something like that, Twitter. I
Cutler's
don't know.
podcast. Jay
Yeah,
Cutler's
that's
podcast.
it.
Yeah. She said, and I didn't know this, but she said she made remarks about the vaccine. Her comments actually said she was questioning COVID-19 vaccine mandates, and she basically was questioning why President Barack Obama identified as Black instead of biracial.
Yeah, she's got some. I'll say this: she's got some interesting views when it comes to race identification. Because I think she's biracial, and she sees things a little differently than most. I would say most Black people do. But you know that's her thing. But one thing about it, when it comes to ESPN and these sports stations, they know who their top viewers are, which I think the most dominant viewers are Black men. So if it looks like it's gonna mess, kind of throw it off their viewers, they're gonna be like, hey, we got to fall back with you, because it was something else she had put out that she said or something, and they fell back on Sage Steele for a while, and then she'll get to social media, and then something happens. So maybe she wants to go. She maybe, and I'm thinking like when people do that, they kind of on the end of the journey, I would say. Yeah, with that particular job. Yeah. And so they like, I'm all right, I'm gonna go out guns a-blazing. And nowadays people have podcasts and people have different stuff like that they make their own money. And
like
she's definitely developed the platform. Yeah. So she's developed the platform. So it looks like that to me. It seems like that's what a move is. So
I hate to see her move because I think she's pretty good, but
yeah.
So
but
apparently the lawsuit.
The sister that go ahead.
No,
I was gonna say, the sister that was on it was a show her and another guy had on ESPN, and they had a falling out. Jamil Hill, I think that's name was. Yeah. And then they spun off, and she's got her own podcast or something like that. Yeah.
Well, Sage actually has been around for a while now. But apparently when that whole incident happened, when she was on Jay Cutler's podcast, when she made those remarks, that she was forced to, is what she's saying, she was forced to apologize, and they temporarily benched her. That's what her lawsuit is saying. And she's also claims that prominent gigs were taken away from her, and that she was bullied by her coworkers. So, but this happened in September. So it's, what are we in? April. So I'm not sure why the lawsuit is coming up now. With that happened in September when all that happened. So I don't know. We'll see. But anyway,
another thing to consider too when it comes to broadcasting is very competitive. And you got a lot of these former athletes that they come off of a sport, and then they coming in the game a lot better than it was 20 years ago. So it gets competitive. Somebody itching for her spot. So you can't keep up. You got to get on.
I will say this, and I'm going to say that. So some people know that when I was in LA, I pursued sports broadcasting. That's, I went to school, had, some gigs on cable companies, and didn't make it to ESPN. So during that time frame, that was like early 2000s, and there were not a lot of people in the industry that looked like me. I will say this. So most people know that when I was in Los Angeles, I was out there pursuing sports broadcasting. And that was in early 2000. And at that time, there were not a lot of African American females in sports broadcasting. And so you didn't see it a lot. I mean, my, example or role model at the time was Pam Oliver, who was the sideline reporter for Fox Sports.
Fox, yeah.
Yes. And so, there was very few. When I say few, you could probably count them on one hand. But now it's a different day, because that was the early 2000s. Now it's a different day. So you have a ton of African American female broadcasters. So Sage Steele is not, the only one right now. And so there are a lot of people that can, that are the face of ESPN and are moving on to ABC and CBS. And so, when you make the statement about, there's a lot of talent out there. There's a lot of talent that look like us. And so, and they are really, doing a great job. I mean, every time you turn the TV, you see an African-American female doing sports broadcasting.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So, she definitely, and I got, like I said, I got to give her credit. She's one of those cut from that same cloth that had to break a lot of barriers to get what she got. So, hey, we'll see what the next stage is for Sage Steele. If she's just gonna fight the organization, stay within it. I don't know. She's kind of doing the same thing a lot of those athletes do,
Yeah. But that's all I have for sports. What do you have for entertainment?
So for entertainment, there's a new documentary that revisits the toxic legacy of Girls Gone Wild. So I know a lot of you young folks, you might not remember, but there was a DVD series called Girls Gone Wild that used to capture, young girls partying and things of that such. Now I never watched it, but yeah. So there was some moments in pop culture history that seem in retrospect like an utterly horrible mistake on the part of all involved, and these creators and viewers alike. The very existence of Girls Gone Wild, the whole franchise, definitely falls into that category. As befitting, there's a documentary that is called Girls Gone Wild Exposed, and it's part of TNT's Rich and Shameless series. And there's a new article at The Guardian that explores this documentary and its findings. And they describe it as nightmarish, which would not be an exaggeration. So a lot of the people that were impacted by this film basically say that, man, some of the women that spoke in this documentary never gave permission for the images to be used in the series, winding up featured. They featured them regardless. The gentleman that owns the franchise is actually Mantra Films, and the creator of Girls Gone Wild is Joe Francis. And Joe Francis basically he had a history of physical abuse, including in 2013 his conviction of for assaulting a trio of women. Most recently, he was arrested for charges of domestic violence, but he has ties to celebrities, and they're well documented. So kind of like somebody else we know. And in the heyday of the Girls Gone Wild series, even though it's long behind us, is definitely, unfortunately, the legacy of it remains. So I'm interested to see how they put a spin on this documentary and how they actually project what was going on back then. But I knew one time I threw a party and I called it Girls Gone Wild, and people thought that they was ready to shut it down because they thought Girls Gone Wild was coming to this little corner of Florida. And I was like, no, it ain't gonna be no Girls Gone Wild there. And it created a lot of hype, but it was beneficial for me because then it ended up being a real big party. But yeah, it still left a bad taste because they definitely left a bad taste. A lot of people in Bay County and Panama City, to be particular. So yeah, I remember those days. But yeah, so in my next story, I don't know if a lot of people remember this, but Cooley High, right? Cooley High cast reunites and celebrates how the film changed the landscape for people of color. This 1975 film has been reunited at the 13th annual TCM Classic Film Festival, and it spotlights the film's breakthrough in a Black produced cinema. Excuse me. And the director, Michael Schultz, And Cooley High stars Glenn Turman, Lawrence Hilton, Jacobs, Garrett Morris, Cynthia Davis, and Stephen Williams. They all sat down for a pre-screening talk. And it was just great to see. I actually saw this like 1975, so that's way before my time. But I had a chance to watch it when I got a little older, and was like, oh, because I know a lot of the characters like Garrett Morris. I know him from Jamie Foxx show. A couple other characters like the ROTC teacher on the spinoff from the Bill Cosby show, the college one.
Oh, you're talking about Different World.
Different World. All right, so
Yeah.
let me backtrack.
Yeah.
So the father from the ROTC teacher from a different world. Yeah. So a lot of them came up. That was like their breakthrough show. That was the breakthrough that got them a lot of these roles in the future. So and then it was, I think he did 21 Jump Street as well. So it was a lot of them. One of the gentlemen played the father, Joe Jackson, on the remake of the movie about the Jackson 5 and the whole.
Yeah, Larry Jacobs.
Yep. So it's good to see that, and a lot of people kind of bring things back, and a lot of the newer generation will see the beginnings, how film and how things got to be where it is today. So which is cool. Cooley High. Yeah. And my last story, it's not so much, I would say it's not so much an entertainment bracket, but since it went viral on TikTok, it gave me a little gateway. But I know a lot of people are gonna want to pay a lot more attention to your receipts. So restaurants, they have a honest to goodness fee on receipts. It sparked a viral debate on TikTok. So it's a restaurant that has a Canadian chain that started, I think it's called Chuck's Wagon. They actually have a extra fee on their tickets. Now, some people took this to be a gratuity, but it's not a gratuity. So their explanation, as you were, it was Chuck's Roadhouse, the name of the restaurant. So it's not a gratuity. They're saying it's an extra fee so that it can basically ensure that the products, the food that they purchase, that it will be high end and good product of food that they serve. Now, me personally, I would say just lie to me. Don't throw all these extra charges. Just throw it in on the front end. Because when you put it on my ticket, I'm gonna have something to say. Because I didn't agree to pay for that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So hey, a lot of me, just go ahead and say, hey man, this is what you're gonna charge, and I'm willing to pay for that. But don't start throwing extra stuff on the ticket and saying honest to goodness fee. Yeah. Don't hit me with that. So basically this is started a big debate, and a lot of people now are like, hey, we need to start focusing more on what these restaurants are putting on our tickets. Because a lot of people got funky about that gratuity. Hey, I'll give a tip, but if I give a tip and I don't know you already added it to what I'm already paying, and you already got sales tax and all that. But this is something that excuse me, Canada and Ontario they do. They have like a 13% harmonized sales tax. So I guess in this company's hindsight, their mind view, they don't think it's anything wrong with it. But I beg to differ. I think it's kind of a bad business move, especially if your chain is venturing off into America, and Americans don't want to see all that. Hey, just go ahead and charge what you're gonna charge. But if we look and we see something say a honest to goodness fee, hey man, what is this? You know what I'm saying? So make sure you pay attention to these tickets. Make sure you pay attention to these tickets out there. But other than that, that's it for me for entertainment.
All right. Well, you know what? I want to go back to sports real quick because I just realized I omitted something. When I was talking about Mariana High School softball team, there are two players that signed on Thursday to colleges. And that's Amari Brown. She'll be playing for Chipola right here in Mariana. And Angel Curry will be headed to Wallace College. They both signed on Thursday before that big game I was talking about. So that's pretty good. Congratulations to Amari Brown, who will be playing right here at Chipola, and Angel Curry, who is headed to Wallace College. Best wishes to both of you young ladies. So that's
Cool. Well, we got one. We got Chipola got one for her. So
well, actually, she's the second one because Lexi Spooner, who also she's the first baseman, if I'm correct, for Marion High School. She's also signed with Chipola. I know that because she also plays volleyball, but she is a signed already with Chipola College. So I think they have two. So that makes Brown and Spooner. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, so let's switch to our relationship topic for today, and we're going to talk about setting boundaries. And we've kind of touched on this before in the past, but we're going to talk about it more intensely. Setting boundaries in your relationships, and that means Byron, just kind of like not teaching people how to treat you, basically. Like you can't, allow certain things to happen in your relationship. Whether it's your friends, whatever the relationship is, you have to set boundaries to take care of yourself, your mentality, and not let people, walk all over you, not let people take advantage of you, not let people take you for granted. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, for me, I definitely that aspect of it, it takes a while to learn that and to grow into who you are, what type of person you are, and what type of input and what type of feedback you expect in a relationship, whether it's your friends, whether it's your girlfriend, boyfriend, etc. Because, knowing myself and knowing what I expect, I realize that I expect a lot out of people because I expect to put in a lot. And so those boundaries, I think, you definitely have to establish those up front. And it worked out for me, like I say, from one relationship to another. And I became more vocal about, hey, listen, I'm the type of person that's this. And if I get that out on up front, then the better things worked for me. So even if it's in a work setting and we're coworkers, even if it's something that I genuinely don't like, I learned to say it then. I get that out there in the open so there's no confusion of how I am or how I'm going to, receive something, because then I've gotten that stress off of me. Because a lot of people, they'll hold things in and they won't say something or say how they're feeling up front, and then it could be something as simple as somebody sneezing or, be something simple, a spill milk, and it'll be like go to 100 and things blow up. And you're not, and the thing is, everybody is not able to articulate well. We've got two different ages. I probably we got three, but we definitely got two. We got our actual age, and then we have our psychological age, is how we respond to things, how we act emotionally. And a lot of us, we may be 40 years old, 50 years old physically, but we might be emotionally 8, 9, 10 years old, how we deal with things. So for me, getting things out up front, and like I say, if people say I'm a-hole or whatever they want to call me, arrogant, that's fine, that's cool, but at least I've gotten the stress off of me. It's not eating away at me, and I got it out there. And if you understand, at least you respect the fact that I'm being up front with you, and just let the chips fall as they may.
What about the relationships where it's you're giving more than you're receiving? Like you in these relationships, I don't know if you've ever been in these, but where you have this person that just take. That's where you really have to set up boundaries.
And people, people are different. A lot of people think like, some people in their mind, they may feel like they're giving you they're giving you not, they doing no wrong, you know what I'm saying? And you like, hold on, how, and some people just think like that. And what I've learned is to not get so caught up in I don't want to say friendship, but take what somebody gives you and say, okay, that's as far as this person goes. This is as far as this person goes, and take them as they are. You know what I'm saying? But then you kind of put you kind of make yourself the fool because you're expecting more from them that's not them. You know, they are who they are. And
But
one thing about it,
teach people how to treat you though too.
yeah, you're right. And one thing about it, one friend of mine, Mr. Holt, he used to say, he used to love to say it. He said, one thing about it, you know, they are consistent, and you have to pay attention to what somebody is consistent with, and don't fool yourself. You know, don't you know, when somebody shows you who they are, you know, believe them.
The first time.
But the first time, don't think, because now you're applying yourself to somebody else, and that's not the way everybody operates. But but at the same time, you can't just let things go and let things go. You gotta say something. Yeah. It's just, you know, but like I said, a lot of people aren't good with verbally expressing themselves and have tact. And sometimes they're afraid that it'll come off wrong. And you know, that's kind of what festers and boils and makes things so bad. But I've just learned, you know, for myself, say it then, whatever, you know, and get it out. And let things go, you know, but take people how they are. Don't expect them to be like you.
But also teach people how to treat you. I mean, you can't be in a relationship where you're the giver
got to do
all
that.
the time.
Yeah. You got to do that.
Give. If you're in that type of relationship, you have to step back and say, listen, I can't do this anymore. I don't care who it is. I have to, you know, protect my health, protect my mental health. So I'm going to draw a line. I'm setting boundaries. You know, you can't expect this of me because I'm not going to fulfill, you know, your request anymore. You have to just say no. So that's coming about.
That's a hard thing. That's a hard thing, even for me.
You have to do it because there's some people that will continue to use you. I mean, I know people will use you for your knowledge. People will use you
on dry.
If you're reliable. And that's why at one point I was like, you know what, just consider me unreliable. Because if you consider me unreliable, then you won't ask me for anything. You'll know that I'm not going to come through. So I almost, you know, for certain people, I want to project I'm not reliable. I'm not. So you can't depend on me to do it. So therefore, you won't ask me to do it. So
you have to throw it. You have to throw a curveball at them sometime. Yeah, just get lost and don't answer. Yeah,
exactly. She reliable.
So they'll get mad.
Don't ask. I'm not reliable.
And so that's fine if they get mad at you. That's fine. You're not stressing yourself out, because that's been my problem. I don't know when to say I can't do it, and I got so much stuff I'm juggling, and then you know, it's boundaries.
You're not wrong for setting boundaries. I mean, you can't be everything to all people, and that's not your job to fulfill everybody's request. It's not your job to make people happy. It's not your job to balance people's emotions. It's not your job. So it's good to set boundaries so people will not expect you to be there at all. That's what I'm saying.
You're right.
Set the boundaries. So lesson learned.
Lesson learned. I'm gonna throw you in my circle of psychological therapists. Get me. That's what I'm starting to do with social media, especially with Instagram. I just stream up a line of motivational quotes and things like that that keep me going. You know, one of them is The Rock. You know,
you have to. That's mental health. I do it on a daily basis, and nothing's wrong with that. I mean, you have to get encouragement. You have to get what I call fed. You have to, you know, we take care of our bodies, you know, well, some of us do anyway. Take care of our body. You have to take care of your body. You have to take care of your spirit. You have to take care of your soul. Your soul is your emotional intellect. That's your thinker, your feeler. You know, you have to take care of that too. So you have to feed all three, because we're 3-part beings, spirit, soul, and body. You can't do one without and miss the other two. So you have to get fed, just like you exercise, work out for your body. You have to do that for your spirit and your soul, and therefore you have a balanced life. So, and you don't always, you know, probably do it consistently, but you have to try to do it on a regular basis as much as possible. You can tell when there's somebody's soul is just out of whack because they're emotional, there's no self-control.
Mm.
They're up and down, and they just need to go get some type of, help.
Mm.
So anyway, yeah, set boundaries for yourself. You're not wrong for setting boundaries. And if you have to fall back and just tell somebody you're not reliable, so be it. You can do that.
So be it. Yep.
Yeah. All right, Byron, I do want to talk about our upcoming show for next week. We have a special show coming up next week for Mother's Day. It's called One Woman, Many Roles. So I'm going to be talking to some ladies. It's going to talk about how they balance being, a mother, a wife, and a career all in one hand. So that's going to be so good. Tune in for next weekend for our special Mother's Day show. It's going to be called One Woman, Many Roles. So make sure you watch out for that. I have some great ladies that's going to be on the panel, and we're going to discuss everything. So I encourage everybody to look out for that. I'll put out the flyer next week, and we will be airing it next weekend. So that's all I have, Byron. What do you have?
That is it. I don't have much other than everyone out there that wants to partake in the Emancipation Day Festival Parade or wants to be a vendor, please email me at freedommonth2020@gmail.com. That's freedommonth2020@gmail.com. Also, you can definitely go on the website. You can download the sign up form for the parade. Is absolutely free. And I'm still looking for a couple of contestants for that best barbecue rib competition and that best cake competition. So make sure you get in contact with me. You can even message me on Facebook or even on the bottom line Facebook Messenger. So please hit me up. And things are starting to roll. It's starting to roll. So I'm gonna start putting out some ads and things like that. So be on the lookout. June 11th and the 12th, the parade will be that Saturday, and then the cook-offs will be that Sunday. So be on the lookout for that.
Countdown, you're drawing near.
Yeah.
So good. All right, we want to thank everybody for watching Bottom Line with Roni and Byron, and we really appreciate all your support. And we want to just say thank you. Continue to watch us. Continue to, say hi to us when you see us in the streets, and just let us know that you are watching the show on a weekly basis. So again, thank you. And remember, when you know the truth, you can speak the truth. And the light shines brighter when it shines for two. We'll see you next week.